In 2012, your agency put out a now declassified report that seems to have predicted the rise of ISIS to power. You said the deteriorating security situation in Iraq and Syria could lead to the declaration of a, quote, Islamic State through union with other terrorist organizations in Iraq and Syria, which will create grave danger in regards to unifying Iraq and the protection of its territory. It was not long after you issued that report that President Obama referred to ISIS as the JV team. Do you feel as though your warnings were ignored?
You know, I think that they did not meet a particular narrative that the White House needed, and I'll be very candid with you. I have said, and I believe that the people that were around the president, his sort of inner circle that were advising him, I think advised him incorrectly.
What was the narrative?
I think the narrative was that Al-Qaeda was on the run, and bin Laden was dead, and he was
the election narrative.
And they were dead, and and these guys are we've beaten them. And we knew that. I mean, we've killed more leaders in the Al-Qaeda, ISIS, AQI, Boko Haram, more leaders than we can say, and they continue to just multiply. So we have to get more realistic on what it is that we're facing, and we're not facing a bunch of criminals. These are not criminals. These are hardcore radical Islamists who have a deeply held belief. They're very well organized. They're very well led, and they have a vision of this world that is complete opposite to what the vision of what you and I would want for our own families.
Their Pentagon, as you know, is the Inspector General there is looking into whether or not any intelligence was cooked. That people on the ground were saying one thing, and that somewhere up the line, people were finessing it to make it sound as though A, ISIS was weaker than it was, and B, that the airstrikes against ISIS were more effective than they were. What can you tell us about that?
I believe that the role of intelligence and the importance of intelligence, it begins at the very top of our government. The president sets the priorities. If he feels like he's getting poor intelligence, then he needs to either find different people, or he needs to figure out what's the matter with the system that is in place, because that is a huge system. It's the best in the world if it's focused properly.